Welcome, everybody. My name is Arjun Roy, producer, recordist, mix engineer, coming at you from Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada, my hometown. We're recording today not at Better Than Fred's as per usual, but a couch, because I just felt like chilling today. I have to think of a name for the couch version of this thing. Just trying to figure that out, but I'll put like a placeholder, like some kind of
couch sessions.
Couch sessions, right? Like the couch. Yeah. So anyway, it'll be something. It'll be something. Yeah. This is episode 20 of a series of unedited conversations that I'm calling The Hometown Hustle. This deals with my artistic journey through the arts and music scene in BP's country and all the people who helped me get where I am today. This evening, I'm pleased to have with me GP scene legend, manager, writer, filmmaker, along with his wife Sarah Rew Jones of Checkered Media.
That's right.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for being here.
I'm so glad to be here.
I appreciate your time.
No, it's great. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So one thing that is hilarious within all this, I always kind of like to remember like when I met somebody and then kind of go over all the scene stuff. But Andrew, when did we officially meet?
Okay. Official meeting was like real recent.
like winter 2017?
Something like that. Like it was like, which is mind-blowing.
Like
literally, we're both doing all this stuff at the music scene for years.
Yeah, for years.
And I totally knew who you were.
And you as well.
But I just didn't, I don't know, we're just like adjacent scenes.
Like two ships passing in the night.
Somehow. So then, but I think actually we met one time earlier at when Our Broken Body.
Yes.
They were like, I was kind of helping them figure out a little bit of industry stuff.
Yep.
At the same time that you were recording a record for them or an EP or something.
Yep.
And I think there was one time where like we weren't even at the same meeting. It was like we were just like I was talking to them and then I was leaving and you were coming. And
right.
I was like, hey, Arjun.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was
That's right.
Oh
my gosh.
But I like that would have been like a 2-minute thing. And then we finally sat down and hung out.
Yep.
And then it turned out we liked each other, so we've hung out quite a bit since then.
Exactly. It's so funny. Talk about like being all over the scene, knowing all the same people, all the same bands, like the whole thing. It's hilarious how that works sometimes.
It's so funny.
Andrew, man, where did you grow up?
Here.
GP born and raised?
I was.
Oh.
Yep. Grand Prairie born and raised. I was here pretty much straight through. I mean, I was gone for like 1 year when I was 5 because my dad was going to school and like little things like that. But and then I was in college for 2 years and then I was back. And then we were in Nanaimo for 3 years.
That's right.
And then now we're back.
Now you're back.
But basically Grand Prairie's been home base.
Yeah.
For my life.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's not bad.
What were you into growing up?
I liked hanging out. Like I was really into dinosaurs.
Oh, cool.
For a long time, I thought I was going to be a paleontologist.
Dude,
most of my growing up, that was the goal. And then, I was always like really into the arts too. Like my friend, because it's not like now where like kids have like 8 video camera options in their home because any phone or iPad or whatever whatever.
Yep.
So my one friend had a video camera, so I would use that whenever we could. But you couldn't be like the annoying friend who only wanted to ask for one thing.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Hey, man.
Try to keep it chill.
Hang out? Yeah. By the way.
I always liked that. And then once I got into like junior high, then music became a big focus for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Would you say sort of got into like the visual arts and filmmaking first and then music, or was it all kind of happening at once?
I just liked experimenting with all of it. Like when I was a kid, like I didn't have any of that stuff, right? Like I had like I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
Well, what I did have, actually, I was just telling my 12-year-old today, what I did have me and my friend, we had FM microphones. You remember that? You could like tune them to a broadcast. They like look like a handheld.
Yeah.
You could like tune it to.
Yep.
But it was like commercial bandwidth.
Yep.
So you could
Yep.
tune to whatever.
Yep.
And I would like for days at a time host a radio station.
No way.
That I was pretty sure someone would be like driving by my house and like
that's right.
have their radio on Seek and they'd find me and I'd be telling like I'd be like reading out of like my kids' books and I'd be like playing music.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I did do that.
That's a heck of a cool thing to do.
Yeah. Me and my friend Michael Norton did that a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was a good friend for all that sort of thing. We would like experiment with like using speakers as microphones and microphones as speakers and
heck yeah,
all that kind of weird stuff that
that's
weird
all
kids like us do.
Right. I was gonna say that sounds but yeah, you're right. Yes, weird kids like us. That's right. It sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it was great. I'd probably still have fun.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was and then so I was just kind of into whatever, and also just like hanging out, and I did theater stuff too, like whenever I could, like just anything in that world, right?
Were you into sort of acting in theater at the time, or were you into directing?
Yeah,
and helping out?
no, I did some acting and stuff when I was a kid, just like church plays and stuff, and then in school, whenever there was an option, I usually took it.
Cool.
And then I don't know, and then and then once we got into like high school. We started like doing stuff where we'd like write little sketches or we'd make videos. Or, again, through like our church youth group, we had a video editing board.
Oh,
when
nice.
We were like in junior high, which it was like VHS times, right? So this video editing board, like basically you could hook 2 VCRs into it and you could crossfade between them. That was like its main function. And then put like some weird like negative.
Yeah, that's right. Like, the classic effects.
Yeah, stupid MTV effects on it that look terrible.
Amazing.
So that's when I started doing more videos. But then I was like, we had a thing called like the Orange Jackets, and we'd like host this thing. We'd do like fake news reports, and so then I was on screen, and we were writing ideas, and I was also we'd go to conferences and stuff, and we so we'd film the whole thing, and then we'd make videos to go with it, and then we'd sell them to all the other kids. And where was I going? Oh yeah, I was just saying with like the VHS. Like I remember too. I was also recanting the other day. Like we'd just have to set an alarm for like every 45 minutes. You'd wake up and you'd switch which like you put a new blank VHS, record, play, back to sleep.
Absolutely.
45 minutes. Spend a couple nights doing that.
That's awesome.
That's what you do.
Absolutely, man. So, did you grow up in a like artistic or musical family, or like what was there art around and you were kind of drawn to it somehow?
Not much. That's kind of the thing. Like I was always drawn to it, but like not a lot. My parents tried to put me in piano for a little bit because I wanted to do that, but they had a different perspective than I did, I guess. Sure. So it's like, I was like, so I did the piano lessons. That was fine. They had trouble getting me to practice and, all the normal kid stuff. But then I was like, hey, can I like not be in lessons for you? I just want to like play with it. Cause I love just playing with it.
Absolutely.
But I didn't really like the songs that weren't good songs,
sure,
like,
of course.
So then they sold the piano because I wasn't wanting to be in lessons. I'm like, that's not
what I had in mind.
I
didn't want that to happen.
But that,
so
they had a different perspective on it than I did.
Of course.
So,
do you still play piano now?
No. I don't play anything.
Hey, man. It's all good.
So, yeah.
What did you do after high school?
After high school,
did you went to college?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?
I went to a school called Alberta Bible College in Calgary, and I got a diploma in performing arts.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that was like we had a theater troupe and we toured around and we did that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And that was a good time. And then I came back and started a theater program here in Grand Prairie called Studio Y. There was like a family theater thing.
How long did that run?
7 seasons plus an episode.
Until when?
Let's see. It was a monthly thing. It would have been. Oh man, let me think. Okay, graduate, and then 2 years of college, It would have been like 2005 or 6 till 2012 or 13.
Okay.
Somewhere in that kind of way.
Okay. I feel like, I'm assuming it was before I moved out of town, but I remember something about Studio Y.
Yeah.
I don't remember what. But
yeah, it was a big family theater thing
absolutely.
we did. And so that was a lot of
Very
fun,
cool.
and that was a lot of writing, and that was a lot of video stuff. And so that was kind of that scene. I did the music. I did it all throughout. It was like kind of one of those things I kept going back to, right? Like I promoted my first show in high school.
Oh.
I started promoting.
What show was that?
So, okay, this is kind of funny.
Let's do it.
So had I done anything yet? I helped my friends like with a couple little shows at the Compass a little bit.
Ah, okay.
I had some friends who played there, and that was good. But then when I can't remember, 16 or 17. I was like, man, we should get some bigger bands to come to Grand Prairie that I want to see, because I was always into the all ages scene. And so I think that's kind of why we missed each other, because you're kind of like the house scene, and I was always throwing all ages shows. And so we threw a show, and I booked a band called 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And they came, and Rocksmith opened for them.
Okay.
Rocksmith Tablet still at that time. No, they transitioned from when I booked them to like when they played the show. That was the transition.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, Rocksmith opened, and like I didn't know what I was doing. And I rented the small side of the Crystal Center.
Whoa.
And I rented Axe Music to come up from Edmonton.
Whoa. Okay.
And I paid $5,000 for this fly date. And I'm like this 16, 17-year-old kid. Their booking agent, actually, I ended up going and working for their booking agent later in life. But their booking agent, like he didn't know he was dealing with like a 16-year-old kid on the phone signing these $5,000 contracts.
Exactly.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Although it was really stressful because it wasn't much. It was good. But I had like, between all of that, whatever, it was like probably 10 grand riding on the show, right? By the time you're all said and done. Which is, something when you're like a high school kid.
Of course. Yeah.
And it was all going great. And then I forget who I originally had, so I won't slander them, which is good. Booked to do sound at Edmonton. And they called me the day before the show, 2 days before the show. They're like, oh yeah, we double booked. We can't bring that gear up. And I was like, the gear's not available locally, and Axe Music saved my life. So I've always liked them because
heck yeah, absolutely.
Because I was like, I need you guys tomorrow.
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, we need a few hotel rooms, and I'm like, sure at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
But the show did really well.
Awesome.
I forget how many, like a few hundred tickets, and tons of people came out, and it was a really good experience.
That's wonderful.
And that was kind of like my first real foray into promoting.
Yeah.
Because I've never understood how to do things at a small, reasonable level.
Oh, right. It's just like,
so I was like,
bam.
I'd like to get into music. I know. I'll book a fly date. But I didn't know any better, right? Yeah. Like, I didn't know that like a fly date is 10 times more than a normal date. Like, how would I know?
Of course. That's incredible. I appreciate that you did that. You know what I mean? Like, it's you want to do a thing, you book a thing and you figure it out. I mean, there's no better way to like learn on the job than that.
Yeah, you figure it. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I remember that show happening in town. I was out of town for some reason.
Okay.
But I remember because like 1,000 Foot Crutch were, and would you call them like a new metal kind of band?
Yeah, they're kind of like
they kind of fit in that scene,
new metal,
right?
Rock, hip hop,
rock kind of
thingy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember I appreciated that sound at that time.
Yeah.
And I was really bummed that I was going to be out of town and miss that, But cool. That's amazing that was you.
Yeah, that was me, man.
That's awesome, dude. Man, so what happened next? So you booked this show.
Yeah,
and it worked out.
It worked out. It was great. And then I did a few more local shows. Some stuff with Rocksmith, some stuff with I guess it would have been Prevail at that point. Okay. Yeah, just like a few local shows. My friends had a band called Theophilus that I helped throw some shows at the Compass for.
Okay.
And which the Compass was like, or C-Spot, whatever timing it was. That was like the funnest little venue.
That's
like,
what I hear,
went to
man.
a ton of shows there.
Yeah.
I put on some shows there.
Yep.
I went to a ton of shows
Yep.
there. It was just like so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so small. Like there was like, I don't know what the fire code situation was on that, but it was there was no way we were anywhere near. Like they were the tightest, sweatiest little shows. And so that was a lot of fun.
That's cool. I got to town when I think the Compass/C Spot had closed.
Oh,
and so everyone I talked to, they would reminisce about with sort of glistening eyes, like, "Oh, this is the best." I'm like, "Oh, it sounds like the best."
It was really good.
Were you booking shows at specific venues, or were you sort of booking according to bands that you were working with? How was that?
Yeah, it was just like anywhere where I could get a room and get some bands together. And do some stuff. And I always like kind of tried to come up with weird stuff.
Yep.
It's like, hey, wow.
Weird stuff how? Now I'm curious.
I don't know. I remember, I don't think this show ever happened, but I was like really dedicated. There's like this weird like field in the middle of the comp with the way it's laid out.
Okay,
and I was like, I'm going to throw a show there. I don't think I did.
Got it.
Because I don't think anyone would rent it to me. But it's just like stuff like that.
I understand. So. Well, it's interesting because you're like curating an experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not just like throwing, come to this bar or come to this hall and see a show. It's like for some reason you want to, people to inhabit this space.
Exactly.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was high school. And then, I went to college and did a bunch of theater stuff. Yeah. Came back to town, ran a theater program. And then as that was wrapping up, actually the booking agent for Thousand Foot Crutch had his own booking agency. He had been with Third Coast, and now he was starting a new one, Converge. And he just said something. He was just looking for some like Nashville interns, like because a lot of people because he's in Nashville. A lot of people go to music school in Nashville, and he's looking for something. Anyway, I was like, hey, I might not have the same job in a little bit. He was like, oh, really? And so we talked, and so then I booked for an agency out of Nashville I was their kind of West Coast. I had the western third of the United States. Yeah. And then I had all the international stuff. Yeah. And so that was fun. Did that for a while. They were going to get me to move down, but it just financially I couldn't make it make sense. By then I had Sarah was about to have our third kid.
Awesome.
And so to move the whole family to Nashville for the kind of rates we were getting as a booking, it just didn't quite work.
Yeah, of course.
So I kept doing it out of here until honestly I was starting to get frustrated because I found like so many artist managers like they would want me to book new tours, but no new stuff was happening. It's really hard for an agent to book a new tour because you call all the same venues over and over, and if there's like nothing. Like, and there's a few hundred venues or whatever, but still, like, if you can't say there's a new album, there's a new video, if you can give them something, then you have a reason to email them again, and you're not annoying, right? So then I was like, well, I think I want to get into artist management.
Okay.
So how that worked out was there was an artist who had come. I had booked in the middle of everything. Yeah, I was still okay. Anyway, I was still promoting throughout that whole theater thing on and off. We had actually, especially one thing, we had like a coffee house kind of thing. We'd book a local artist and then like some touring artist that I just kind of managed to get a lead on, even though I wasn't fully in the scene. I was like, kept my fingers in,
Heck yeah.
And then we'd always throw on someone who was like their first show. Cool. Or like their... they had always wanted to try playing a show, or like something like that. Totally. And so it'd be like a local person who was good, a touring artist who's good, and then someone we just wanted to give a shot. Yeah. And it was like it was a good vibe. Absolutely. So I was doing that, but then I had also booked a hip hop show with a guy by the name of John Rubin. Cool. And opening for him was a band called Veteran Green, who Luke Dowler was the leader of that band. Okay. And so he came up, we did that show, it went well. I booked a whole tour for them it was like a mini tour. It was like 3 dates, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, and Calgary. Yep. And then he called me a little while. He said, hey, I'd like to do another run in Alberta. Can we put something? I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So then I took over his Canadian booking for a while, and then I took over his booking for a while I was working for the agency out in Nashville. My boss was really cool, and he's like, hey, I don't think we're going to sign him, but you can use anything you're doing. I don't mind if you.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, great. So, then we, so then he was the first artist I took over management for.
Okay.
Technically, actually, I was sort of this Convictions manager.
Okay.
Way before that.
Got it.
But I didn't hardly know what a manager did at that time.
Gotcha.
So I booked them a few shows and weighed in on their cover art. I guess I'm a manager now.
Heck yeah.
The pattern of this is I just always sign up for things and then figure out what they mean later.
Dude, isn't that everything that we do in the entertainment biz though? You're like, yes. Mm-hmm. Later that night, you're like,
of course I can do that.
Come on.
So
awesome.
Yeah. And so that whole time I was promoting on and off and staying in the music scene that way, mostly all ages stuff, and then doing the theater stuff, and then a little while. So I was managing Luke and doing different shows and I was working for the booking agency, managing Luke, and I forget what else. Maybe I was still working at the church part-time. I don't know. Anyway.
A lot of cool stuff.
Doing a lot of stuff. And then Al Peterson called me. He was like, hey, there's this guy named Caleb Hart. I think you've met him a couple times. I said, yeah, I've met Caleb. And he said, we did this thing at Howler's, and everyone was really responsive. Would you just take a meeting with us?
Yep.
I said, yeah, sure. So I sat down and I kind of heard from Al and Caleb what had happened. And this Tasmin Jude thing was this thing they were starting. And it was just they had played one little open mic at Howler's, had a crazy good response. Put a thing on Facebook. It's like, hey, we might make this a band if we can get, I forget what it was. It was if we can get 300 likes by tomorrow, we'll put out some songs. Why not? And it was 500 instantly. So it's nice. Oh shoot, we're doing this thing now. And they were like, this thing feels like it might go. So they played one other show, which I went to, and I was like, oh man, there's something here. Yeah. And then I signed them after they had played 2, maybe 3 shows. Yeah. And then we just started working together. And then that was kind of that led to kind of the Tasmin Jude era of my life.
Totally. That's amazing. So let me back up just a little bit.
I covered a lot of years there. Sorry.
No, not at all, man. That's fantastic. And one thing that I'm curious about, I guess that the central focus of this whole thing, at least, for me, is just being in town. Maybe it's unfair to say, but maybe there's a grain of truth that perhaps Grand Prairie is not an entertainment hub.
I think that's fair to say.
If I can say that? Yeah. Okay. However, there are some of us from Grand Prairie who, have done things at a certain level of professionalism. I mean, everything that you just described, it's not nothing. It's not for a Grand Prairie person, you're doing man, you're booking national and international stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your mindset going from, wanting to be involved in promotion and stuff like that, and then just feeling what, I can do this and level it up. Where did that drive, where did that certainty come from?
That's a good question.
Right? Youthful exuberance.
Yeah. I just oh man. So I basically got into promoting. Because everything kind of grew out of that, right? Promoting to being a booking agent is pretty logical transition, and booking agent to manager is pretty logical transition. We can talk about how directing came after that.
Sure.
But that transition, basically I realized I couldn't be in a band.
Okay.
I wasn't good. I would have thought it would be awesome to be the lead singer of a band, but I couldn't sing. I wasn't good at playing when I tried to learn. I mean, I didn't really put in the work either, to be fair.
Yep.
But in my mind, I was I don't really have this.
Yeah.
So then I was but I love music. This is what I spent my time thinking about, talking about, bands. And so I started promoting because I was well, this is as close to it as I can get with my skills that I have. And then, I don't know, I've just never really been a person who thought I couldn't do
I hear you.
something.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like, it was like, oh, okay, well, then I guess I like all the bands like Manchester. I was just like, oh, I guess I'll blow them up till they're like one of the biggest touring acts in the world, and then I guess we'll go from there. Like, it was just like,
absolutely.
Neither of the bands I managed, any of the bands I managed, are the biggest touring acts in the world, which is I kind of always feel bad about, to be honest. But I tried.
You did a lot though.
I tried.
You did a lot, and they did a lot.
Yeah, we did. We were playing like my artists were playing like 300 shows a year. Tasmin Jude was touring internationally. Luke has done a lot of things. We're featured in Paste and some big outlets, and so we got a lot done. But you do realize at some point like how narrow that window is to actually like be the very top, right?
Totally.
I was listening to what was I listening to? It was like a Kanon record a while ago. So I was still working in music. Maybe no, I just kind of left it because now I'm focused on film pretty much full time. And I was listening to it, and I was listening to this song, and it was so good. It was so good. Yeah. And it was in no way a massive hit.
Right.
And it kind of makes you just realize like what a combination of like luck and skill, like, and things going just right at the right time. Absolutely. It really takes, you know. That made me feel slightly less guilty. I don't know.
No, of course. Well, that's the thing. Like, the one thing that no one can predict is like audience reception, the public reception. Because like the things that really blow up, the things that nowadays go viral, the things that become number one hits, or whatever your metric is, it's like it's just the rare combination of every single thing lining up for a brief instant
on the right day at the right time.
Like the collective consciousness is like doing this, and you just happen to be writing that at the time, and it blows up. So it's I mean,
so you just got to keep putting in the work, right?
That's just it. Yeah, it's like it's a long game, right? Yeah. It's a numbers game. It's the long game.
And there's the thing that Ari Hertzstedt always says, which is true, which is the thing that like the arts is the only thing where people feel like if you don't blow up into like one of the top 10 in the world, you didn't succeed.
Right.
Whereas it's like if you made your living at it, you're doing it.
That's
right.
Just
like
it.
There's not that pressure on like when I was a waiter.
Yeah.
It was like no one expected me to superstar waiter. I was a good waiter. I got my tips. I paid my bills.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're living your life.
That's just it.
And it's like in music, it's like, if you're gigging and you're playing and you're paying your bills, that's a win. You should just take that as a...
Dude, totally. Well, I mean, like you were saying just moments ago, like, you were booking bands like 300 shows a year. I mean, for a band to be playing 300 shows a year, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like, you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're playing all the time.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What led to directing? Now, obviously, you had theater experience before.
Yeah. So that played a role. In the family theater program Studio Y that I was doing. It was like, so it was a bit intense. Like we did shows once a month for most of our tenure.
Wow.
We did shows once a month, like 9 months of the year. And we would do, each one would have 5 original choreographed dances, 3 host sketches, a 2-act play, and 2 videos.
Got it.
Kind of at a minimum. And then we kind of built and stuff. And we were doing that like every month. So it was like there was a lot. Right. And so I started shooting more video then.
Okay.
But it wasn't really, it was a thing on the side. Because I was going to blow up these bands.
Yeah, totally.
And pretty soon I was going to be touring with the bands. And, like once I'm touring with the bands and we're touring stadiums across the world.
Yep.
But to get there, now that I had lost my normal paycheck job, not lost, but like what kind of anyway, left it, lost it combo. It was like, okay, well, we need to do something. Sarah's like, well, you know how to shoot video. My wife, Sarah, who is the smart half of this relationship. And so she was like, you know how to shoot video. Why don't you just like shoot some weddings and little corporate-y things, to kind of help pay some of our bills. Well, because by that time we had a couple kids, and she's doing some babysitting and day homing and stuff, but mostly, at home with kids.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, okay. So we started doing that. and that was really good. And then what happened that really got me into directing is Telus. This is before Story Hive even launched.
Oh, okay.
Telus partnered with an organization called Public Records.
Yep.
And they offered a grant to shoot a music video. And it was, I think it was like, at the time, it seemed like something, because I'd never like heard of it, but it was like $2,500.
Sure.
I think to shoot a music video.
Right. Right.
And we shot, and so I applied for that. With Tasmin Jude, because I was managing Tasmin Jude. And we had just got the new EP together. I don't think it was released yet.
Okay.
But we had the songs pretty much down.
Yeah.
And so their very first EP. And so there's a song called Take You Away. And we're like, hey, let's shoot a music video. So we won the grant.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Heck yeah.
And so I directed that. And I had actually Chris Beauchamp came on.
Cool.
And co-directed it kind of with me.
Yep.
I felt like that was a fair credit because he had done so much creative work on it. And then and Cam Belseth. So Chris was running.
Cam, okay.
Yeah. Cam was running camera on some of the days, and then Chris Beauchamp was running camera some of the days. And it was the first time in my life I had just directed and not been holding a camera.
Okay. Yep.
And it was just like freedom, man.
Yeah.
It was just like I wasn't worried about shooting.
Yep.
I'm not the most technical shooter in the world. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm good, but I'm not the most technical shooter.
Sure.
So like just to be able to work on the creative.
Well, yeah, you're covering the big picture.
Yeah. It was awesome. I loved it. And we shot a video. It had a really good reception for the video. And so from then on, I started looking for more directing opportunities. Got it. And film also, to be fair, was doing a good job paying some bills.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but managing independent bands is not really a cash cow.
What?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, it turns out you take a small percentage of a $200 show. There's not a lot of groceries being bought.
Isn't it insane how that is? Like the margins are so thin, the numbers are so small.
It's crazy, right?
It's a labor of love more than anything.
Yeah, it is. So I was doing some stuff. And then but then more and more just the directing has taken off, and I found myself. You notice at some point in your life, like I noticed when music emails came in, I was like, oh, I got to work on this. That's fine. And when film emails came in, I was like, oh, good. And I was excited. Yeah. And at some point you realize, well, that's not really fair to my artists.
Sure. Yep.
I need to be passionate because it's too hard. It's too much work.
Totally.
To just be putting in the hours.
Yeah.
And to be a good manager, you have to be like thinking about it at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to be like, okay, what's the next angle?
All the time.
Okay, what's the next Facebook? Okay, what's the next tour? Okay. Well, is there a collaboration? Could I hook them up with someone? Like, you're constant. And if your brain starts to get out of that, I don't think you should be doing that job.
Yeah,
because you're not doing right by your artist.
Totally.
So then I switched full time into filmmaking.
Awesome.
And then it's been directing and producing.
Yeah.
All sorts of things ever since.
You were talking earlier, just a moment ago, about seeking out more directing opportunities. Mm-hmm. How did you go about doing that?
That's still a bit tricky for me, to be honest. Sure. Luckily, enough people kind of starting to know who I am that most of them come in now.
Got it.
But that's still regional, and so now the next thing is like, okay, how do I take that to like a national level, like where people know?
Yeah.
This podcast, it'll just
this is it.
This is it.
This is the one.
People are gonna watch this.
They're gonna watch this,
and they're gonna be like, "Hey, Andrew, we have some Star Wars franchises coming up. Do you want to write and direct?"
There are a couple of trilogies that don't have anyone helping them anymore.
That's right. They're free and clear.
Yeah, exactly. My gosh. What would you do for a Star Wars trilogy, real quick? What do you envision? Where would you take it?
That's a good question. I would wanna. I'm interested in like figuring out what's going on some. I really like stuff where you go onto some other planet, right? Yeah. And so like timeline, you'd be concurrent with something that's going on in the Skywalker saga,
right?
but you're dealing with it from this other planet. It's just like terrified that the empire's rising up. They're living under occupation.
Right.
And then, and they're like, what? Death Star blew up? What's going on?
Yeah.
That'd be more fun to do as a series.
Totally.
Like on occupied some planet we've never explored.
Absolutely.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. I mean, now with, Disney Plus and all of the
they're doing a lot of
subscription services. Yeah, it's all becoming.
That's my, I've thought about it for 4 second answer.
Of course. Of course.
I might be able to have a better, I don't know.
Hey, that's just it, man. These are fun thought experiments to do.
But just Disney. I got all kinds of ideas.
Dude, that's just
it, Disney's tuning into this podcast.
I know. Well, that's why I wanted to make sure that you had this platform to tell them.
Thank you. That's one good
Disney,
idea.
Listen.
I don't know. Occupied planet.
It's one of many.
Yeah, I've got a phone full of ideas.
That's right. Call the phone. Or comment below.
That's right. Kathleen Kennedy, just comment below.
That's right. Oh my
I'll get back at you.
Exactly. I'll hit you back real soon. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Let's go back again real quick to the Tasmin Jude era of things. Man, that was a big deal. Tasmin Jude played all over the place.
We did a lot.
Did a lot of shows.
We did a lot.
Did generally a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Talk me through the timeline of that band a little bit.
Felt like a long time at the time, but then you look back and you're like, that's kind of a small window. So, timeline of that band. Okay, so Al and Caleb had already kind of promised they'd put out some songs. So the first thing was figuring out how we were going to do that.
Yeah.
I think Kelly Weeb recorded their first stuff.
Oh, cool.
In a basement.
Yep.
Somewhere. And that's when Wigberto was still part of it.
Yes.
And he was kind of like he was fully part of it, but then I wasn't even sure why. It just said featuring Wigberto Bello. And I'm like, isn't he in the band?
Yeah.
To be honest, as their manager, I was kind of confused.
Of course. What's with this guy?
why is he featured? Anyway, there must have something him and Caleb worked out, I guess.
Right.
So that happened for a while. Then he kind of took off.
Okay.
And pretty soon, Derek joined. Derek Wilder, who was the bassist then for the tenure of the band.
Yep.
And at that point, we started touring. So I was a big fan of what I kind of called spiral touring, which is a good way to launch a career, to be honest. So you start off, you got your little hometown. Then the next, you do everything that's within a 5-hour radius. It has to be 5 hours in Grand Prairie because otherwise there's nowhere to play.
Exactly.
If you live in Nashville, you could make that a 2-hour radius.
Dude,
St. Louis or something like that. LA, you could be this is the block we're doing. This is the 10 block radius. Because no one's willing to go more than 30 blocks for a show. So.
Yes, exactly.
But anyway, and then so we started spiraling that out, and then pretty quickly, within the first year, I think we played our first Western Canadian tour.
Okay, cool.
And then the next year, we played our first national tour.
Nice.
And then while we were booking that national tour, Caleb and Al got a hold of a guy in Australia, and they're like, hey, there was a festival called Easter Fest.
Okay.
And they were like, well, we can't really pay you to come. They could pay, but they couldn't pay.
Cover.
It was so it was $500 or whatever, which is flying through band member, it's gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, but they went there and they played Easter Fest, and I just booked a bunch of other real cheap dates because obviously no one in Australia had a clue who they were.
Yeah.
Not many people in outside of the 5-hour radius knew who they were, right?
Totally.
But we were building it.
Yes.
And we did a national tour several years in a row, and it was building. And every time we just push it a little further, right?
Yeah.
We go to Winnipeg, and then the next time we go to in the end we didn't hit the territories, I don't think.
Okay.
Whoa, hold on. Yeah, they play Folk on the Rocks.
Oh, heck yeah, there you go. Yeah, man.
So we hit most of it. We just missed none of it. And I guess we didn't ever play a show there, which that's a regret.
Yes, understood.
That'd be awesome. But anyway, they went all the way out to the Maritimes and did some business out there and stuff. So that was good. So and then Australia became part of our year every year, which was great because you have like a couple months of the year where Canada is hard to play.
Yeah, because
people hit deer and their cars go sliding and things break and. Venues are frozen shut. I don't know. It's just a terrible
cars
time.
Get frozen.
Yeah, it's not
people
good.
Freeze.
It's
harsh.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
So that was a nice thing to have Australia kind of in our pocket because they could go there for a month. Because we built that up too. Like that first time, I think we played 5 or 6 days, and then by the end, they're going out for about a month. The next year we went out, Easterfest actually paid for our flights because they were a big hit.
Beautiful.
So that was great. And then they helped us book. I asked Easterfest, like, hey, what else can we do? Can we like get into some? And they were like, they said, well, you could play like a school promo for us because they go to some schools because it was like an all ages festival. And we're like, okay, that's great. So then we worked with them to like really build out a school tour. And so then we were doing like, a lot of the nights, the band would go into like a middle school, junior high thing at lunch, play a show, and then we'd try to play bar in the evening.
Awesome. Yep.
Which was great. And it was a good way. And it built up our reputation in Australia really well. And throughout that, and then we dropped 2 more records. So I think it's like a 3-year period. We dropped an EP, 2 records, a good handful of music videos, toured across Canada a few times, across Australia 3 times. That's
incredible, man.
There's a lot there.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, at some point during that, Al left the band. And then Bethany joined, and she was fantastic too. And then it was time for that band to be done.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was just like, some personality stuff and whatever, band stuff.
Band stuff, man.
And
as always.
So, and we won a Western Canadian Music Award in there.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Congrats. That's great.
We played like we didn't ever get nominated for a Juno, but we played like the Juno Party a couple times.
Oh, great.
So we did all kinds of stuff, really.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, they won World Artist of the Year at the WCMAs.
Beautiful.
I forget what year that was. So we did all of that, and then after that, then I just managed Caleb for a little while coming out of that. Bethany and Derek were going off and doing other things, and Caleb wanted to keep playing, and so we did that for a while.
Cool.
And throughout all that, I was managing Luke Dowler as well.
Right. Gotcha. Do you want to talk about Luke just a little bit?
Sure.
So we have like people just waiting, just watching.
Luke is like, he's literally like one of the best songwriters like in America.
He's great, man. Absolutely.
Like he literally is. It's so hard to break through, and there's no grants and stuff in America, which is
isn't that crazy?
So much harder.
Yeah.
It's like in Canada we're really spoiled, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Which is why we, punch above our weight and all that thing in the arts.
Man.
But so but with Luke, we did a lot of stuff. We did a bunch of band stuff. We did a bunch of solo stuff. Signed a record deal, put out a record through those guys. Negotiated our way out of that record deal because it wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
That wasn't. They didn't know what to do with him.
Got it.
They just weren't the right fit. And so played a lot across Western Canada, booked a bunch of national tours down through the States. Did some international stuff with him. We did Switzerland and Germany.
Cool.
He also went to Australia once.
Awesome.
Just played, and he just continues to be a great singer. He still does some soundtrack work for me sometimes.
Cool.
He's kind of one of my go-to.
Awesome.
He's a really great soundtrack artist for all the film folks out there. If you need a score, he's a good man.
Absolutely.
I'll hook you up.
Do it. We'll put links to some things below.
Yeah.
We'll do one of those things.
And so that was Luke. He's been a good a good friend and a good collaborator for years. We did a big single that did like a lot. That was it was to benefit International Justice Mission who like fight against human trafficking.
Awesome.
And so we did that, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's just a very cool bunch of stuff.
Yeah, just loads, right? It's just like busy.
Yeah, that's just it. That's great. All the while, you've been directing. I feel like when do we need to wrap it up in about another 10 minutes or so? Yeah, that's fine. Sounds good. Talk to me a little bit about Afterlight.
Yeah.
What led up to Afterlight?
So that's Story Hive again. So I literally, serious shout out to Telus, because they've given me a lot of the big steps forward in my career. My first real short film, Telus funded, called Finding Fairies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And which I just found out is like, I found this diced up copy of Finding Fairies enmeshed with like 2 other videos.
Okay.
From this like website from Chile.
Okay.
It was like a Facebook page with like millions of people, and my video's all cut up in there. I was like, what is this? So I sent it to some friends who speak Spanish. Yep. Apparently it's about like theories about fairies and fairy history. I was like, all right.
Sure. I guess. Getting a bunch of views on that.
Yeah, maybe. Cool. Yeah. So, so that was Finding Fairies was a big one for us. And then after that we did
all good.
My phone's playing the song.
Nice.
I had it all turned off. Oh, that's an alarm.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No,
that's the least professional moment in the interview.
Man, we're
on a couch, right?
I was gonna say we're sitting on a couch.
It's fine.
It's like the guitar case is behind us.
We just hear a little bit of Propaganda's new single as an alarm. It's
nothing
nice.
wrong with that. Absolutely.
So, anyway,
yep. Finding Fairies leading up to Afterlight.
Finding Fairies, and then so we did that short film. That was some more directing. That was fun doing narrative stuff. Then there was a Story Hive round called the Story Hive 100K edition.
Oh, okay.
And we applied for Afterlight, and we got it.
Awesome.
So that was really fun. We shot a TV pilot, and it's gone over really well.
Yep.
Everyone's really enjoyed it. If you're a network who wants to buy it, I still have it. So we chopped that around, but it was just also a really great experience to like. We shot for 10 days, used a ton of local crew.
Yeah.
A lot of local actors, a few actors we brought in. True.
Yeah.
One guy from Winnipeg, Troy, and then a couple from Calgary, one from Edmonton. But everyone else was local. And then, because, there was a time when we thought we were shooting it in Southern Alberta, so we did a bunch of our casting down there.
Okay.
And then we moved it up here.
Got it.
Which we shot it in Sexsmith, and they were amazing. Sexsmith has been incredible to me as well. And, and that was Afterlight.
Awesome.
And it's I don't know, it's got lots of views on it now, and people watch it, and people like it. And the hope was to do a full series, right? Yep. But it was also our first at-bat making a TV pilot. Yeah. And I co-produced it with some friends in Calgary, LNC Style. And then I directed, and my wife Sarah and I wrote it, and so it was fun. Yeah. It's like we're making a TV show, you know?
Heck yeah.
We did a screening here at the theater, and it was fun. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else I should cover about it, or?
Afterlight, I feel like that's... Where can people find it?
YouTube.
Okay.
If you just type Afterlight, maybe type Afterlight, all one word. Yep. AFTERLIGHT, all one word. And then maybe do Story Hive, too. Just because there's a photo editing app called Afterlight.
Oh,
and sometimes people have tutorials.
Right, absolutely. Like,
but you can find it. Or if you type Afterlight Grand Prairie or Afterlight Rew Jones, all my film stuff is Rew.
That's right.
R-E-W.
Rew Jones.
Rew Jones. Which maybe we should put this podcast under that, actually.
Sounds good.
Because most of my professional work nowadays is Rew Jones.
Got it.
And that's because Andrew Jones is not an uncommon name.
What?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Andrew Jones is about the most kind of generic name you could find.
Gotcha.
It could be John Jones, I guess. But, pretty
John
much.
Smith.
Yeah. So when we were putting out Finding Fairies, I went on IMDb
Yep.
And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I was like, I gotta enter this film, and I gotta. And I was like, Andrew Jones. And I was like Andrew Jones, like number 78, I think, or something. I'm like, that's not a way to build a career.
No.
So then I had to like try to like come up with a name, and I was like, but I felt probably lack of confidence. I felt too pretentious to just like make up a name.
A nom de plume. Like, what could it be?
I was like, I don't know. And so then I tried Rew Jones, but it was still like 20 of them.
Right.
And I was like, if I'm going as far as changing something, I should make it count.
Absolutely.
And then so after a lot of walks with my wife and discussing different names, and then we settled on Rew Jones, and that's what all my work is under now.
Perfect. I made a note of that here so that when I type this up, it'll be Rew Jones.
Sweet.
Andrew and Rew Jones. That's fantastic. So I feel like very soon we'll have to wrap it up, but maybe Andrew.
Yeah.
Rew. We can do this again in the future.
I would love to.
Part 2.
I would love to.
Or more, because there's like there's just so much cool stuff that you and Sarah have done, just career wise and all that. That's like really, really interesting. I think it's fascinating to touch upon either people who know you, who have worked with you, but definitely like people who are up and coming, people who are in the area or not in the area. Just thinking about either music, directing, writing, or whatever as a potential career. It'd be really cool to pick your brain further about some of those things.
I would love to chat with I love sharing information. I'm a big fan of just like sharing as much as you can. Right? Like it's not precious. Like
that's just it.
It's all about putting in the work. Like I don't know. I'm not one of some people really think like their ideas are super precious, and I'm like, maybe. We all have 10 ideas every time we have a shower, so I don't know.
I mean, it's again, it all comes down to the creative visionary, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for me, it would be like mixing. There are only a few tools.
Right, and then figuring out the best way to use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it's just you and your ear and your own.
Yeah, and your own
it's just
vision.
Like, the technical information is like, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love to do that.
Awesome.
I should.
Now in the meantime,
I told you I would tease or announce. I'll tease one thing and I'll announce one thing. How about that?
Should I in caps lock say like Rew teases 2 things you won't believe number 2? Is that something like that? Okay.
Yeah. Let's do it. Then I know what to use as number 2 because it's a bigger surprise.
Okay. Sounds good.
So number 1, this is just something some people are kind of waiting for.
Yep.
Is that Wooden Giant, our documentary about grain elevators, and the Sexsmith grain elevator. We've done a couple screenings.
Yep.
People seem to like it.
Heck yeah.
It's coming out online and on Telus Optic TV. Anyone who has Telus TV. Or on YouTube. And we'll probably do some other stuff too. Yep. It comes out on November 22nd.
November 22nd.
November 22nd. It's coming fast.
It's coming right up. My gosh, it is.
Yeah.
It's like it's November 7th now.
Yeah.
Less than 3 weeks away.
I just had that confirmed.
Yep.
So that's coming out. That's exciting.
Absolutely,
and then the other thing I'll tease is that
number 2,
Sarah and I have been working on a picture book, a kid's book. Because all of our stuff, not all of our stuff, the majority of our stuff is kind of like family entertainment. We got 5 kids.
Yeah. Yep.
So our brain is in a kid world.
Yep.
So anyway, we have a picture book that we're working on. Sarah wrote it. We co-wrote it, but Sarah did most of the work. Yeah. I just like stealing credit.
Yeah,
basically.
I understand.
But we have a new picture book coming out, and pay attention to our pages, and you'll find out about that.
Fantastic.
I'll give we'll give the Facebook links to the Checkered page and the Sarah and Rew Jones page, and then people can find it all.
Absolutely. That's amazing, man.
We have another documentary coming out on AMI coming soon.
Which documentary?
About a guy who just had his second leg amputated.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful story.
Yeah.
So that's going on. And then I have another documentary coming out after that. We have a bunch of stuff.
Dude,
but those are the 2
great.
things we can really, that we can tease. That people will not believe number 2.
They won't believe number 2.
They will not. A picture book. Are you kidding me?
Kidding me? Book with pictures. By Christmas, though. That's fantastic.
That's the plan, is to make it so people can get it for a Christmas present. Okay. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of work, but I think we're closing in. We're going to be able to hit our Christmas deadlines.
Fantastic, man. Well,
yep.
you know what? Speaking of family, let's let you get back to your family.
Yeah, I should go do that.
Go do that.
Go
and then
help.
Probably go to bed.
In case my baby is keeping my wife awake.
Oh my gosh, how
time
old,
to do a shift rocking the baby in the walk-in closet to keep it dark.
Man. How old is he now?
He's 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah, the littlest one is 9 months. They range between 9 months and 12 years. So it's a good spread.
Absolutely.
That's fun.
Man, well, thank you. I won't take up more of your time.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too. This was
Thanks,
fun.
man. This was a great time. Thank you. And if you wish, like and subscribe.
Even if you don't want to.
Even if you don't want to.
Just do it.
Do it anyway. Just do it. Just,
One click away from happiness.